And we are back with a bonus episode, guys. For those who have not seen Ginny on our show before, this is Ginny, our favorite super fan, in the beginning of Ginny's journey into hockey.
It's true. My fandom journey is just starting.
So this one's going to be a little weird. We're just going to go off the wall with some things, talk hockey, talk players. Ginny's got a lot of fun facts that she researched about the players and needs to tell everyone.
Yeah. First of all, I looked up on the website. Super helpful when you write down all the names of everyone and their numbers and their positions. That's exciting.
Highly recommend.
Right. I was just thinking, I was like, oh, this is the way to start to get to know the players. If you don't know anything, just Google the team and then start following the things they like and then finding them on Instagram and being like, oh, you like dogs? Me too. That's cute.
Yeah.
Basically. So that's what I did. And I made a list of some fun facts. Do you want to hear them?
Of course.
Are you ready to hear them?
Of course.
Okay. I didn't get everybody because I didn't have time. But
there's things on this list that I had no idea about. So this is gonna be fun.
Okay. Starting with I guess left wing, forward. You call them forwards?
Yes.
This is forwards. Tyler Bertuzzi, number 59.
New addition.
Fun. I just put down dates a professional model. They have 2 kids. Known animal lover and loves fishing. Yeah. Basic. Basically.
And he's also going to protect Connor.
He's going to protect Connor. Like, how is he going to protect?
Because he likes to just pow, 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 pow. Where before last year, we didn't have anybody who would pow, 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 pow. Aside from Jared Tenorti, but he's definitely, he's old enough where he doesn't need to be the person doing it all the time.
Cool. And we're excited about Bertuzzi.
Yeah.
Get on back. Yeah. No, cool. Speaking of Connor.
We love Connor. Beacon of hope.
Number 98. He has sort of a superstition around him, and it says, don't touch Connor Bedard's stick.
Yeah. No.
You don't touch the stick.
Yeah.
But it doesn't just come out of the blue. It actually was inspired from Sid Crosby. Yes. So that is
every hockey kid's idol.
That is now legend. So that's pretty cool that it's like the superstition lives on. And it seems to work for him. So he's doing pretty great. I don't know. Are we ready to talk about Tubo?
I love it.
Do I need to talk about other people before we get into
No, we can talk about Tabo. We can talk about Tabo. My love, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
I knew we were going to talk about that.
I'm so excited that he's back. He's so excited to be back. My God, there were videos of him and Mrazek during like a European tour of hockey stuff, and he just put on the jersey. Old number 86. I don't know why it says 83, but
it's 86.
His number is 86.
That's wrong. I don't know if that was just
his number is 86. He has his old number. It's great. I cannot wait. I will be proudly in my number 86 jersey that I purchased a week after he was traded the first time. So now I finally get to wear it when he's on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. Guys, July 1st was such a good day for me.
She was telling me about it. It was game changing. And what was the article? Because we were just talking about it a little bit beforehand.
So Tavo was traded after the 2015 Cup. He was traded along with Brian Bickle. It was a bit of a contract dump just because the Chicago Blackhawks needed Brian Bickle off the books. And the way to sweeten the deal is to give bright, new, shiny Teuvo Teravainen to the Carolina Hurricanes. It's also kind of just Chicago's thing to just send all of my favorite people to Carolina.
That's what I had. And then he went to the Carolina Hurricanes.
But he was very confused. I think there was a major language barrier because I think by the time that he was sent to Carolina, he had a bit of English under his belt, but probably not nearly as much as he does now. So there had to have been some sort of literal lost in translation of him getting traded. There was an article of, I don't understand why. I thought I was doing a good job. It broke
Sad.
my heart.
So
Cried a
he's
lot.
Such a cutie too.
He's so adorable.
Such a cutie.
I can't. But now he's back. And it's all fine. And we can just pretend like the last 9 years never happened.
Yeah. North Carolina could be worse. I mean, it could be. Yeah, he could have gone somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, Route 2
Really
went
terrible.
to Carolina. They took care of him. Carolina Hurricanes fans take care of.
I'm from Carolina,
Yeah.
so I like to think that I take care of my friends. I try my best.
Yeah.
So it's
That also continues my streak. We have the streak right now of how many weeks in a row can I bring up Tom about Route 2. It's been very consistent.
Amazing. I have down that his nickname is Turbo. And he's from Finland.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we love him.
And we love him. Amazing. Let's see. I got to Taylor Hall, number 71. Loves golf.
Most hockey players do.
Most hockey players do. He's a dog dad. His dog's name is Leo. I
Cute.
saw an ad. And he likes scarves, apparently.
Good.
He was in the video, he was just like, oh, I really like scarves. And I was like, noted. I'm going to put that down. It was an advertisement for something, I'm sure, but it was still like, I was like, I really like scarves. And I was like, I'm going to get this for my fiance. That was really cute, too. That was a cute little video.
Do you want help pronunciation with the next one?
Yes.
With that one?
I don't have any facts. Do you have any facts for them?
I mean, the kid's got wheels. That's the main thing that I'll say about him. That's your Andreas Athanasiou. Or you can just go double A.
Double A. That makes sense. Double A. But Andreas Athanasiou.
Yes.
Got it.
The kid's got mad wheels.
Yeah. That's amazing. Number 89.
Yes.
Center. Another center.
Yes.
Is this also in order? Like, this is the first? No, it's not in order.
Like, their positions are correct.
Okay.
But it's a little shuffled.
It's a little shuffled. So these aren't the groups that they go with all the time?
Mm-mm.
No, they get mixed up.
Yeah.
Noted.
It also depends because we had a lot of injuries last year. So it all gets goofed. Sometimes it'll be consistent for a while and then kind of switch up depending on who they're playing against, how well people are performing. It's you gotta have different combinations and things happen. Yeah.
Life happens.
Shit happens.
It happens. Anything about Andreas? Anything else that you can kids got wheels.
Kids got wheels.
Philip Korshev. All I got, I didn't get to research it much, but friends with Reichel was like a big thing. Like,
love it.
That
they should be friends.
They've got friendship off the ice was something that I saw in passing. I was like, that's cool.
He's from Switzerland.
He's from Switzerland. That makes sense.
I was very, very upset when they kept healthy scratching him during
what is that?
World Cup.
Healthy scratching?
Yeah, so when they're
What does that
healthy,
mean?
but they don't play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I learned a new term. Healthy scratching.
Yeah.
It's down. Okay. Nick Foligno? Foligno. Nick Foligno. This is my favorite fun fact. Nick Foligno, number 17, left wing. He loves Celine Dion. And when I was looking this up, he listens to her Christmas album. I think like almost every, like when it's the holiday season, he's like, oh yeah, I listen to it like every morning, like all the time. Loves Celine Dion's Christmas album, but he loves it because he and his mom used to share a love for it, and his mom passed away. And so I think he used to sing his heart, or my heart will go on.
Oh, that's cute.
I know. I was like, that's beautiful. I love that.
You'd like him.
I bet.
He's Connor's like honorary dad on the team.
Anyone who loves Celine Dion, honestly, her performance in the
like
Olympics,
Connor will like watch his kids.
That's
like
adorable.
Yeah.
Like that's adorable.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We also love a team that takes care of each other.
Yeah. He also has a brother who plays on Minnesota. That's cool. Yeah.
I feel like
his name's Marcus.
There's a lot of.
He's got his face broken a couple of years ago.
Ooh. Okay.
former Chicago Blackhawk.
Is his face
Hayden.
okay?
Yes.
It's fixed?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Just
Uh-huh. Cheers, everyone. My magical mug of margarita.
Whatever magical mugs. of
Magical
margarita.
mugs of margarita. Amazing. So Jason Dickinson, all I have on him is number 16 center. He's called Mr. Matinee because he seems to do really well at matinees.
Which is weird. Krusty just refers to him as the dick.
He's oh no, tell me more. Wait, give me the tea.
No, truly just because of the name, not personality or anything.
Oh. That's yeah.
Krusty just thinks that he's being funny.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, and but he seems to, he just seems to do really well in the afternoons. He's like, admittedly, he's like his best performances.
He's
been
been
there.
thriving since coming to Chicago.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you want to say more about that, or just?
He was he came from Vancouver, doing not the greatest, but not also just not getting a ton of ice time, and he's definitely having a run. I'd say Dickinson and Mrazek are kind of like having a renaissance of their career, as you will, but they're definitely shining since being here.
Nice. I didn't get, so this is where Ginny like flopped off a little bit.
That's fair.
That's okay. Do you have anything to say about these players?
You will go pronunciations, and this is going to be a little botched because I very much forgot how my Russian insider / mega Caps fan told me how to pronounce this. So if you're watching this, sorry. Ilya Mikheyev.
Yeah.
Maybe. Traded for right before the draft at the end of June this year. From Vancouver. That's fine.
Yeah.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Right wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real fun.
Lucas, we love him. We are big Lucas defenders on this podcast because there are a lot of people who don't like him, and I will go to bat for this kid every minute of the day.
And why wouldn't people like him?
I think there were a lot of high expectations on him. And then when he did not exceed those expectations at 100% as quickly as everyone thought that he would, they then decided to turn on him. I mean, his draft year was 2020.
Okay.
So he's already...
Shitty time anyway.
Exactly. So he's already missed a considerable amount of time that he couldn't be on the ice.
Sure.
And then it's kind of has been told by different coaches to be like different things all over the place. It's very Kirby Doc, which is what concerns me.
What's Kirby Doc?
Kirby Doc was your number 3 pick a couple of years ago. Was very mismanaged by the Chicago Blackhawks and then was traded to the Montreal Canadiens. But they were very much like trying to get him to fit into a role that he just was not, that wasn't his type of game. That wasn't a role that he was going to exceed at. And so they're like, go to Canada. Yeah. So Lucas, it's definitely, I think everybody develops at different speeds. I think just because you take a little bit longer to develop doesn't mean that you're any less of a player than the kids who develop immediately. And I think just because kids who take a little bit longer to develop, they shouldn't get so much hate. Yeah. And Lucas gets a lot of hate.
How old is he?
Lucas is, let's see,
I almost
22.
I almost slid into his DM to ask him what his favorite food was. Angela told me no.
So he's 22.
He's 22. Okay, cool.
So he's not baby, but he's still on the younger side.
Yeah.
And I mean, it takes time. And
again, if he onboarded and onboarded, that's not the right word. If he joined in 2020, then he would have been 18. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's 4 years. 4 years of mayhem and a lot of craziness.
And he was down in Rockford for a bit, and he did great in Rockford. But he also played on a very, very bad team.
Not his fault.
Rockford's getting better now. Get ready. Come October, they're going to be great.
Exciting.
But when Lucas first came over, he was on a very bad team, and he kind of just like immediately exceeded everyone's expectations because they're like, he's great. It's like, have you looked at the rest of the roster? None of it's good. Yes, he's going to look incredible. And then he got brought up to the NHL. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's not the same guy. It's like, yes, it's the same guy. It's just different levels of what in the people that he's playing with, the people that he's playing against. It's all very different. You can't compare the two. So, but we love Lucas here.
Good. Ryan Donato, number 8. Do you have any fun things on Ryan? Should I look it up? No?
I got nothing.
Let me look it up really quickly. Let's see.
Signed as a free agent from Seattle, not this past year, or not signed. Signed as a free agent, not this past summer, but the summer before, I believe.
Previously played for the Boston Bruins.
Yes.
Minnesota Wild, San Jose Sharks. Donato is the son of...
And Seattle Kraken.
Oh, and Seattle Kraken, sorry. Donato is the son of former Bruin and longtime NHL player Ted Donato. In October 12, 2021, Donato scored the first goal in Kraken franchise history in a 4-3 loss against the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, Dragon.
Fun things. But I told Angela, I was like, I want to know, like, the juice. I want to know these players. Like, what are they like on the ice and off the ice? And sometimes it's hard to find little fun facts outside.
Yeah.
Ryan Donato, keeping faith wherever you go. A lamp unto my cleats. What is this? 40 minutes. That's about how long San Jose Sharks forward Ryan Donato had to pack up his entire life and start over. Ryan's father, Ted Donato, is a Boston legend. He was born in Boston. What is this? I don't know. What did you find? Oh, I just found. Okay, we have.
Oh, it's an article.
It's an article. I find random articles and I just like getting into.
This is why we have you on, because I just look at cat wages.
Yeah, like I feel like too for people who are getting into hockey, and I know for me personally, like it's hard when you're sitting and you're like, oh, you're starting to learn the players, you're starting to learn the numbers, but who are the people that are actually on the ice? And then when you can relate to people, you're like, oh yeah, like this guy, I remember he's a dog dad. Like the little fun facts about people. He seems to be pretty. Ryan's got history.
Yeah,
seems to be pretty in faith. All those things. All right, Craig Smith,
free agent, picked up over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth line, typical fourth line guy, which would be great because we really haven't had a ton of guys like that in the past couple of years.
Well, look at him.
Look at him. Look at that hair.
Look at that hair. Look at him. Nice rugged fella. Nice rugged looking fella. Cool. Stat and news. Amazing. Okay. I'll find some more stuff on later. I do have a little bit of Alex Vlasic, not a whole lot, but you could probably talk about Vlasic.
We love him.
More.
We are number one Alex Vlasic fans here on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex Vlasic went to college in Boston. Boston got knocked out of the playoffs, and so he signed his entry level. But he did the smart thing where he was like, I'll sign, but I'm burning my first year now. It was like the tail end of the season because your entry level is 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yeah, I'll sign, but I'm signing right now because I want to make that money.
Mm-hmm.
Played quite a bit down in Rockford. Was playing with Alex Regula quite a bit before he got traded to the Boston Bruins. Had a coming out party for the ages this year. Oh my goodness.
That's fun.
We were, before training camp started, we're all like, maybe he makes the team. Maybe he's the 7th person. Maybe this is his time. Like half a day into training camp, everybody's like, oh no, he's playing, like he's going to be on the Chicago roster. Even Seth Jones is like, I love playing with this kid. I love him. I love him. I hope he has an incredible career entirely in Chicago, especially because he's a hometown boy. I don't want him to leave. I adore him.
Did put down. He's Yugoslavian, but he grew up in Illinois.
Yeah.
And I saw on his Instagram, he not too long ago went to Yugoslavia, I guess. It's like back in the homeland. I was like, cool.
Hell yes.
Cool. Look, there's cool pictures. That was really nice. Yeah. Seth Jones, number 4. I've seen Seth Jones play a few times now, and he's very identifiable.
Yeah.
Seth Jones is a self-proclaimed foodie. He loves to cook.
Love it.
That's what I have. I think it was something like salmon and potatoes. He's a homeboy. He is a homeboy. He likes to cook things.
Yeah. His brother used to play for Chicago.
And his brother also used to play. I think I was able to see them both play. I remember when I was with you.
Yes. His mom is delightful.
Yeah.
A delightfully nice person. She was in front of me in line at Ulta when I used to work there. And I was cashing out, getting my tips. I look over. There's Seth Jones and a woman. And then he leaves. And I said, I am so sorry to bother you. But is that the Seth Jones? And she said, oh, my son? You know who my son is? And I'm just like,
Says you're sweating, just like behind the
like,
camera.
oh my God, be cool, be cool. Like, yes.
Yeah. That's super sweet. Amazing. Yeah.
We also love Seth Jones. Seth Jones gets a lot of hate in Chicago. But on this podcast, we are big Seth Jones supporters.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have the greatest contract from a team money standpoint.
Okay.
From a him standpoint, great. Make that money. Get that money. But it was one of the last bad contracts that Stan Bowman made when he was the GM. So a lot of people kind of just tie that up. I'm just going to hate you because of the person that traded for you and left us with this bad contract, but not really his performance.
And when you say a bad contract, does that mean like he's not paid well? What does that mean?
He has a lot of money for a while.
Yeah.
So it's bad for the team, but it's not bad for him. Like he's making a ton of money.
He's doing fine. Yeah.
Yes.
But what does it mean like bad for the team?
So because the NHL, they have a cap. All teams have a cap for their salary.
Okay.
So a considerable portion is locked up with Seth Jones. So it's just less money to sign other people with.
I see.
And it's for a significant period of time. Also because, before Alex Vlasic had his coming out party of being absolutely incredible, Seth Jones was arguably one of the only players on the team with NHL talent. And so when he messed up, which was very few and far between, because we love Seth Jones, everyone decided, we lost because of Seth. The entire game was Seth's fault. This one play that he did. This one play that he did. He lost this one face-off, so we lost the game. No, guys, we lost the game because we're really bad. I don't know if you know this, but we're not good. It's
so
not
entertaining to watch.
It's not Seth's fault. So Seth has a lot of haters. This show is a big Seth fan because
I'm a Seth fan.
We love Seth.
He's lovely. And we love his mom. We're a big Seth's mom's fan. So here we go. Kevin Korchinski played piano and guitar.
Yes.
I can't spell. I put plaid piano and guitar, but it's fine. I was writing this in a hurry. Played piano and guitar. Number 14. We also love multi-talented.
Used to be number 55.
Oh, used to be number 55.
Now he switched back to his junior number.
Another fun fact. So yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got on him. And I think that's all the fun facts I put down. Other than I put down the first power play unit. And
guys, she really did her homework. I was so impressed.
I'm really excited about it. And the goalies, of course. And so, but we could just keep talking about the players. Like,
We can talk about whatever. This is your episode. We can talk about whatever you like.
well,
I will
I appreciate
Hockey Princess explain anything.
I love this. So Connor Murphy. Let's get through the roster
Yep.
that I have really quickly, and then we can dive into more other specific facts.
Yep.
About the game.
Connor Murphy came from Arizona when Arizona still had a hockey team. Was in the Nicholas Hjalmarsson trade, which also broke my heart.
What's that?
I believe that was June 27th, 2017.
Mm.
Nicholas Hjalmarsson, number 4, my mom's favorite, was a integral part in the cup runs on the defensive end. Was traded to the Arizona Coyotes. He had a no trade clause. This is what I find so cute. So no trade clause with their contract is like, you can't trade me at all to anybody. Like, I'm locked into this team for this contract. You cannot move me whatsoever. But sometimes there's a no trade clause, but like players can give their general manager a list of 10 teams of like, you can only trade me to these teams. So he had one of those where it was like a shortened list, and it was basically, okay, if you're going to trade me, you're going to trade me to Arizona, because Oliver Ekman-Larsson at the time was playing in Arizona, which is one of his like hockey best friends. And he was like, if you move me, I'm going to go be in the warm weather and go play with my best friend. So we went to Arizona. Connor Murphy came. There were a lot more pieces that honestly I cannot remember at the moment. But I remember being like, if he is 3/4 of the player that Nicholas Hjalmarsson is, I will be happy. I like him. Very injury prone, but that's not on him. That's just, hockey's a contact sport and it happens. But I like him.
Shit happens.
Shit happens.
Shit happens. Alec Martinez, number 25.
Very new.
Very new.
This one I was very surprised because he was on the Los Angeles Kings in 2014, which is when they won the cup. But the main issue is we go back to Game 7 of 2014 of the Western Conference Finals. It's Chicago versus Los Angeles. Game 7, Martinez scores to win it in overtimes, knocking Chicago out of the playoffs. This is the only time that Krusty's ever been mad at me, because I was at Wrigley Field earlier that day and I did not wash the Wrigley off. And that's why we lost.
Huh.
But I had to go to Wrigley. Because
obviously,
it was Derek Jeter's farewell year. You have to pay your respects.
You do. It's true. You always have to pay your respects in hockey. I have Martinez is a winner of 3 Stanley Cups,
yes.
2 with Los Angeles Kings and 1 with the Vegas Golden Knights. He's even remembered in Chicago for scoring a game-winning overtime goal when he was on the Kings against the Blackhawks in 2014 Western Conference Final.
It's the only time I've ever seen Krusty actually truly depressed.
Oh,
it was like the couple of days after that game.
Oh, sad. Okay, he's a little older than I am. He's 1987 baby. I'm 92. Yeah. Cool. Okay. TJ Brody.
New addition with free agency. Kyle picked up a lot of different free agents during the off season on July 1st. It'll be a third pairing defenseman.
Also,
yes.
Also a what do you call it? When your parents are also in NHL or like in the thing,
legacy.
A legacy kid, I guess. His father is also a former hockey player. This led TJ Brody's interest in hockey. All things run in the family. That's cool. Just trying to find some other cool stuff. Yeah, cool. And then all we have left is goalies.
Peter Mrazek,
NHL
legend.
Number 34.
Mrazek sort of has played everywhere. Played in Carolina for a bit. Played in Toronto. Played in a couple of other cities. Has played here. Definitely having a renaissance of his career being here. He's been here. This will be his 3rd year as the starting goaltender. First year was awful, but to be fair, it was awful for everyone. which is why Alex Stalock ended up playing so many games. Who was probably one of the weirdest goaltenders I've ever seen in like the absolute best way. Like the fact that he got under the skin of Brady Tkachuk to the point where Brady Tkachuk got thrown out of a game. Incredible. I'm a fan for life of this man. But then last year stood on his head, played amazing. Signed for this year, and I believe next year has an extension. Is sort of set to play here for the next couple of years until our baby Drew Commesso can take his next steps into the NHL, which I can't wait for. I'm so excited for Drew Commesso.
Cool. And thoughts about Laurent? This is where I'll need your help.
Laurent Brossoit. Yeah, sure. I barely speak French. Another free agent pick this offseason. Definitely tells me that Kyle was not necessarily impressed with Soderblom's game, who was the previous backup goaltender to Pierre Mrazek. He was kind of in between Rockford and Chicago. Didn't have a great season this past season. Some of it was confidence for him. Some of it was just not having good games. And some of it, it's, that's a really bad team that plays in front of you some days. So picked up a more solidified, more veteran NHL goaltender to kind of just help Mrazek. So it's a little bit less pressure off of Mrazek. And then figuring Bloom's your third guy, you're kind of in between Chicago and Rockford.
Cool. Okay, I've got something that I just thought up of on the fly.
All right.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
So, Andrew and I also both have a background in theater. And something that happens in theater at the end of a show sometimes are the paper plate awards. Have you ever done a paper plate award? You don't know what that is? Oh. That is when you award people different categories. It could be like MVP or like Daddy of the Year or like things like that. So I figured
let's go for it.
We can play this with the Blackhawks roster. Are you ready? So speaking of that, who do you think is like the daddy of the team?
Nick Foligno.
I know. I figured we just talked about that, but for
He's
example,
literally there to like be the veteran leadership with Seth Jones and with Jason Dickinson. But the man's got his kids around all the time. Yeah.
Amazing. And like some of these, I'm just kind of randomly Googling a few of them. So they're not all necessarily going to be applicable. Team cheerleader. Who do you think is the team cheerleader?
Team cheerleader.
Mm-hmm. Like who's like the spirit of the team? You think like who really like has everybody's back, on and off the ice?
Once again, Nick Foligno.
Still probably. I mean, they can win multiple awards. That's also fine.
I'd say. I mean, it's a three-way tie between the veterans on the team, which is your Nick Foligno. I'd say Jason Dickinson, and I'd give it to Seth Jones just for how much he's a cheerleader for Alex Vlasic.
Oh, I love that.
They went to Worlds during the off season, and like he was just bummed that he didn't get to play with Vlasic.
Oh, that's adorable. All right, I have Master of Moves. This can either be dance moves or hockey moves, I guess.
Hockey moves. That's Connor.
That's Connor for sure. The Master of Moves.
That means throwing the Michigan, doing everything.
What does that mean, throwing the Michigan?
Michigan,
so that's
it's not throwing the Michigan, but Michigan is a. So essentially, they take the stick.
Yeah.
It's like one of these like designer goal scoring things that only a few people do, but they have it. But they have the puck like on the stick, and they'll wrap around the goal and like try to chuck it. It's like a lacrosse move kind of where they try to chuck it
but
over.
you're actually carrying the puck.
Yeah,
it's not
where they
on
try
the
to carry
ice.
it, like throw it over the goalie's shoulder.
Whoa!
Goalie's shoulder.
And that's called Michigan?
Yeah.
Cool. Who is the unsung hero of the Blackhawks?
Seth Jones.
Seth Jones. That was fast. That was real fast. Oh, that's really cute. Who is the...
We would be 0-82 if we didn't have Seth Jones.
That's really sweet. Who is the Energizer Bunny?
Ooh. Go with Philip Kurashev.
And what?
Just because the amount of games that I saw this past year where a lot of people would play for like the first 20 minutes and then kind of just be on airplane mode the rest of the game once they were down 3-0. And you just see Philip Kurashev's motor continue for the full 60 minutes, just consistently. The man doesn't take a shift off.
Cool. Who is the most fashion forward? Basically, I just lost my page, but this award is perfect for the person with the most unique style, the one who isn't afraid to express themselves. I'm guessing this somebody who's probably most, I don't know.
I will say Connor's suits are immaculate.
Are they really?
Yes.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Their eccentric style makes them stand out in a crowd.
It's not even really eccentric. It's just very good. Every reel that I see, because they put a bunch of like videos of like them walking into the locker room before games, and everyone's suits are always pretty good. But Connor's
are 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Class clown.
That I have no idea.
Yeah. Try to find other ones.
We used to have a Fleury, or Marc-Andre Fleury as one of our goaltenders years ago. Traitor. And he is known in the NHL for being a massive prankster, but I don't know who is like on the active roster.
Let's see. Marathon man or woman, there's always one person on the team who never seems to tire. They're the first on the field and the last to leave.
Connor, because they literally named one of the practice rooms Connor's room.
Whoa. That's crazy.
The kid broke his jaw and then like begged the doctors to be back on the ice like 7 days later.
Yeah.
And he said that was the longest he ever took off from playing hockey.
That's crazy. Yeah. I think it'll be my personal mission now. There's a category called Green Thumb. I gotta see if I don't know if any of them would plant. If any of the team members have plants or have a wife who plants or something. I love my plants. So that's my personal mission, is to find the fun facts. Or like budding artist. I mean, we have a couple. Who did I say was the?
We've got musicians.
We've got some musicians.
That's Korchinski.
Yeah, Korchinski. Yeah, we've got. Then we'll give Korchinski that one. Yeah. Are there any categories that you would? And what would you award somebody for paper plate awards? Like if you were to give a player a category.
I gotta think on it.
Yeah,
I gotta think on it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Oh no, like come back to me.
Oh, come back. Should I ask more? Or
yeah.
Like, let me see.
Or what other questions? The floor is yours.
I know. I'm trying to find more questions. But also like for you specifically, because I know there's a lot of newbies still on the team. Who are you most excited about?
For Chicago?
Yeah, for Chicago.
For this upcoming roster.
Yeah.
I mean, Tavo's return.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, because right now it's a lot of uncertainty, just because we are about a month out from training camp, which I can't wait. September 18th cannot come soon enough.
It's going to be right.
I'm ready. But there's a lot of guys where we don't know where they're going to end up yet in terms of Chicago or Rockford. There's definitely some guys where, like your Gavin Hayes, your Ledwinski, your Savoie. I finally get to watch Savoie in person and not just, in French on the CHL website. I'm so excited. But there's a couple of guys, your Landon Slaggert, your Frank Nazar, that you're not entirely sure where they're going to end up and where they fit if they get assigned Chicago or Rockford. A lot of the like guarantees are kind of returned. So I'm definitely excited to like see how Tyler Bertuzzi fits in to the Chicago Blackhawks roster. I'm excited to see Tavo return. I'm excited to have Pat Maroon on the roster and not just trying to dodge his boardings. But yeah, it's a lot of just blanket statement. I'm excited to see how these free agents and how these veteran guys fit, not only with each other, but with like the guys who have already been on the team. And I'm excited to see, the in-between guys, where they end up. Where does Isaac Phillips end up? We don't know yet.
Tell me more about Isaac Phillips.
I love Isaac Phillips. So Isaac Phillips was also drafted same year as Lucas. He's a defenseman. He's kind of been in between Chicago versus Rockford, getting a ton of ice time down in Rockford. Very, very minimal when he gets brought up to Chicago. I'm a big fan of his. He's not perfect by any means, but we're all human. None of us are perfect. But it definitely does seem that he's on a significantly shorter leash than some of the other defensemen up in Chicago. Like when he makes a mistake, he immediately gets benched, and there's certain defensemen that they make mistakes and then they're just allowed to carry on. But those players are no longer on the roster, so I think it'll be a little different going into this year. But big fan. I hope he at least has a chance to get the 7th defenseman spot in Chicago. Or at least have a bit more time up in Chicago than he did with Rockford.
Cool. I was looking at Matt Savoie, some fun facts about
Matt, that's a different Savoie.
It's a different Savoie.
Savoie is very common in Canada. My guy's name is Samuel Savoie.
I'm sorry. I got it wrong.
Played with the Gatineau Olympiques. Played a couple of games with the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies. Mm-hmm. Fractured his femur. Right. During training camp last year. It was the night of your cabaret. Because I was literally sitting, waiting for you, seeing the things on Instagram of him getting carted off on a stretcher and just being so sad. Because one, broken femur is broken femur. That's nasty. There's videos of him crashing, mm-hmm. and you can hear him screaming. From the ice. It was horrible. But he signed his entry level last year, didn't play a game with Rockford, but was listed on their roster going into the postseason last year. Very much expected that he will be in Rockford come October 12th. And I'm so excited. I have been waiting 2 years to see Sam Savoie, Gavin Hayes, and Paul Ledwinski on the same line. I cannot wait.
I love that. I love that so much. I'm just now following Sam Savoie on Instagram as well.
The mullet's 12 out of 10. I love it.
The mullet is important.
It's very important. Are you a hockey player if you don't have a mullet?
I mean, there's quite a few.
Patrick Kane had a great mullet. You need a mullet.
You need to be a great. I think that's a requirement now. To be a great hockey player, you need a mullet at least once in your life.
Yeah,
one time. Yeah. Would you say that's? I don't know what I was going to say anymore. I was going to say something about fashion. Fashion forward. Yeah. Cool. Well, tell me more about Rockford, because I don't know what's going on in Rockford right now.
That's my favorite thing.
I know, she's just so excited to talk about Rockford. I know.
Chicago, whatever. Rockford, let's go.
Let's go. Let's talk about Rockford.
Rockford's starting to be interesting. So Rockford is the minor league team of Chicago.
Got it.
They're the Ice Hogs. We've seen them play a couple of times.
We have.
They play against Chicago. Chicago is not the AHL team to Chicago. It's out in Rockford. But they're starting to get interesting because they drafted. It all began the draft of 2022 when we all thought the world was going to burn because Alex DeBrincat and Kirby Dach were traded, and none of us knew what was going on. So it all began Kyle with his master plan to burn everything to the ground and then build it up in his own image. But we drafted a lot of these guys. They all played in juniors for a couple of years, and now they make their way to Rockford, which means I can't, like I've said before with Crusty, I can't promise they're good. I can't promise they're bad. It's going to be way more entertaining to watch. And those guys in particular, I've very much cheered for since they were drafted because, well, a couple of years ago, they still used to do this, where their prospect camp was on ice and people got to go. They don't do this anymore because the Blackhawks don't know how to deal with the popularity of Connor.
That's true.
But it was all very like quiet and weird and kind of depressing because we all didn't know what was going on. Like, you know, Kyle wasn't re-signing anybody. Everybody was walking in free agency. All these younger guys that we thought were going to be superstars were getting traded. You have Kane and Taves in the press basically being like, I don't know what's going on. And then you have these three kids who are the best part of the week. They're so entertaining to watch.
Aww.
And I'm just like, this is the hill that I'm going to die on, because at that moment, I didn't know where this team was going, but I knew they were fun to watch on the ice during prospect camp. And I'm like, all right, these are the guys that I cheer for.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Are there any fun facts that you know in general that you want to share with the audience? In your bank?
I mean, this one we've said before, but a lot of the prospects used to wait. They were all centermen that had captains on their respective junior or college team that wore the number 19 or in flipped 91. Now they all have to find new numbers because nobody can take Johnny's number. But I just love that we are getting like an army of centermen who once wore Johnny's number.
Gotta pick different numbers then.
Yeah.
Gotta pick different numbers.
Well, and all of the kids can't pick the same
All right.
number because there's like 4 of them who used to wear the number 19.
It's true. It's true. So now recap for me. What are the things you're most looking forward to? What are things that newbies like me should know going into
this season? Mm-hmm. It's not going to be better just because we have more veterans on the team.
Okay.
We are not magically fixed because we went out and re-signed Teuvo Teravainen and signed all these guys during free agency. It's not fixed. We're still going to be pretty gosh darn bad. We'll be better than last year and we'll be less pathetic to watch. That's definitely the thing. Because I think there is a lot of like, oh, all of our problems are solved after free agency. That's not the case.
Yeah.
It's still really bad. We're still number 8 in the division. However, it's not a 25-point differential between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So it is going to be better.
And just for my brain, when you're talking about points as far as being 8 in the division.
2 for wins, 1 for overtime, 0 for losses.
Okay.
So there's 4 divisions. There's the Atlantic, Metro, Central, and Pacific.
Cool.
So we are number 8 out of 8.
Cool. Again, great basic breakdown for a newbie like myself. Getting into it. Really exciting.
We're still going to be bad. I do think that I hope that we do not have the injury situation that we had last year where basically like half of our roster was on injured reserve. However, I do think if that does happen again or something close to that magnitude happens again, we are better prepared than we were last year, because last year a lot of guys got hurt and then Kyle Davidson had to like go out and just sign guys. I do think we are better prepared. I do think, there'll be less road trips out to Canada where it's like, hey, we played 3 games and we didn't score. Like when Krusty and I went out in January, they lost both games, but we didn't get to see them score a goal
at all.
That I don't think happens nearly as much. We're not setting records for how many losses for away games. So it's getting better.
Slowly but surely.
age by. I mean, but a rebuild takes time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the Hawks went through this prior, but I think a lot of people became fans, you know, during the Taves and Kane era. And I only have very, very brief memories of the before time, but the before time was really bad. They were handing out tickets outside out of the United Center when I was a kid. I remember like the ticket agent sold my mom a $5 adult ticket, and then I just got in for free just so they had people in the building. You could count how many sections in the 300 level didn't have people in them. It used to be really bad before Taves and Kane, and it took a while. This is good. Hopefully not that bad. I don't think we're getting that bad. But it's going to take time, but we are getting
better, slowly but surely. And part of that sort of strategy is bringing in some old players.
Yeah, because Connor needs somebody to play with. The main problem last year was you have this generational talent and no one near his caliber to play with. And so he didn't have any like line mates that he could play with. And also just didn't have a ton of support whatsoever.
Cool. So how long will we have Connor Bedard? Do you have forever?
So he has his entry level contract, which played his first year, so he has this year and one more, and then homeboy gets his massive deal. I'm 11 to 13 now, probably. He's probably going to set the next record for being the highest paid, which I'm the biggest supporter of hockey players make that money. And yes, you should pay. He is your guy. You are building this team and what this team will be for the next 10 years around him. Give him whatever he wants.
That's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Yes, but this is also the kid that had like grown men stalking him in his lawn when he was 14 for his signature. Jesus. Like people have had their eye on him.
Right.
He's been coached since he was like tiny to be the next big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of pressure.
It's like no joke. Yeah. Cool. So another sort of newbie question. Contracts and just a little bit about like because we've talked a little bit about it and like a bad contract when you said like Seth Jones was a bad contract. What makes a good contract? What are the basics for contracts?
The balance in terms of, I mean, the type of player, but it's finding the balance. I mean, from like a GM perspective of longevity and how much you want to pay them. Like obviously, your top two guys, so Vlasic and Seth Jones, are going to get significantly more ice time than Martinez and Brody.
Right.
They're going to do more, so they should get
more money and get paid more. Right.
Same with forwards. Like your Tavo, your Connor, they're going to have the most ice time. They're going to score the most amount of goals. They should have the most money out of your roster.
Sure.
So it's that type of goal scorers are always going to get more. But it's also longevity. You know, you got to think of like, will they still be at this performance level in 5 years, in 8 years? And that all kind of depends on like how old they are at the time of signing. After your entry level, that's not necessarily where you make a bad contract because by that point, they're 21. They're going to, I mean, with the exception for if an injury were to come up, they're going to play for a long time. So there's a very low risk in terms of giving them a massive contract. But it's when you get into like the 25, 26, 27, okay, that's not if you give them a 5-year deal, are they still going to be playing at that level when they're 30, when they're 31, when they're 32?
Sure.
It's the balancing act.
Sure. Cool. Is there anything else that you're like super excited about coming up?
Rockford. I can't wait for Rockford. I can't. I'm so excited for this team. And you've got goaltending. Like it's just, I can't friggin'. I'm so excited. But no, I mean, we'll know more going into training camp which will have probably too many episodes breaking down every inch, every shift of training camp in a couple of weeks. But do you have any other last maybe questions?
I think I'm good. I mean, I will always have questions. I will always have more questions. I can't wait to go to more games. I can't wait to sort of learn more in these discussions.
That's why we have that.
I know, it's really fun. It was fun for me to just kind of look up fun facts and like learn more about the players.
I definitely like Felino more now.
Yeah.
Than I know how much you like Celine Dion.
I know, right? Right? You're like, that's what you associate with. I'm like, oh my God, you love Celine Dion and you love her mom. Like, that's all I need to know. And you're like the hockey dad of the team. So, I mean, that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to go into the season and see some games with you, hopefully, with a little more knowledge of the team and a little more knowledge of.
And we'll go see the baby kids.
And the baby kids.
When they come to the All-State.
And the baby kids. We need to see the baby
And Rockford comes to the All-State.
Perfect. When is that?
No, we'll find it.
Whenever that
We'll
happens.
find it.
Yeah. But it's always a lot of fun. And I learn something new every time.
Yeah, that's what it's
The
all
knowledge
about.
from this beautiful brain.
All right. Yeah, well, just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, however you watch or listen to Crusty Old Guy and I ramble on a weekly basis. If you want to see Ginny again, make sure to hit that like button. We'll bring her on again once the season starts. That is all. Next week, Crusty Old Guy will be back. So we'll be back to our regular scheduled show.
Woo woo!
Woo woo!